Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about this pretty famous idea for quite a long time already. The idea of 80-20 rules in terms of food, when you are kind of trying to leave the table and stop eating when you are 80% full. How to understand when you're 80% full, how does it work, and is it really a good tool for some of us who are dealing with binge eating episodes, emotional eating episodes, and food cravings. So probably you, same like me, and many of us have already heard about this 80-20 rule. This rule is applicable for many things, but probably one of the most famous one is this kind of Japanese rule that you should leave table when you are 80% full. And we already know that probably it has a lot of benefits. And actually, I agree. If you are kind of being mindful about that and you are paying attention to your hunger and you are actually able to leave the table when you are 80% full, you're gonna definitely do a very good thing for your health. You're gonna avoid overeating, and you're probably gonna have a better control over your food. But at the same time, especially for binge eaters, they might be a little bit tricky point here. First of all, let's understand how it's even possible to reach this 80% of satisfaction. So the first obvious idea is when you're kind of full, you are satisfied, but at the same time you feel you can still eat a little bit more. That's also a good signal that you're like around 80% full. It's also a good idea to start evaluating your hunger and measure it. It's like a habit. It does take time to adjust to it, but if you kind of start evaluating your hunger on the scale from 1 to 10, with time you will start understanding where you are right now. Is it like 7, 8, 6, or is it like 10? The next point, when you're kind of standing up after your meal and you do not feel bloated, you do not feel sleepy, you actually feel energized and satisfied. Those probably are the best signal that you are somewhere around these 80-20 rules. So why I think it's a good idea to teach yourself to start paying attention to your hunger and be able to reach somewhere around 80%. So definitely it's good for not overeating, it's good for having better control over your food, and it's a good idea just kind of to be grounded and present in general. Many of us are living in this autopilot mode, and unfortunately, because of our lifestyle, because of social media, because sometimes we are eating and scrolling our phones or watching TV, and because of kind of stressful life in general we are dealing with, we are not so connected to our food experience that we probably should be, and it creates a lot of food-related issues. And especially if you are dealing with binge eating or emotional eating, as I do, probably it's a good idea to start teaching yourself to be a little bit aware. At the same time, you should test it. I'm not an expert, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not food specialist, I'm not a dietitian. And many things that I'm sharing on this channel is only my personal experience, something that I'm testing, something that I'm trying to test on myself first of all, because I'm the one who has episodes of binge eating, of emotional eating, of strong cravings. I do not have very healthy relationship with food in general. There is a lot of things that I'm now trying to solve, and I'm working now on my self-love, self-acceptance. I'm trying to build a better relationship with myself first of all, and I'm trying to collect as many tools as possible on this journey. And actually this channel is created with the idea of sharing those tools and also keeping myself accountable. But binge eating episode, it's a very serious issue, and you should not deal with that just following someone's advice on YouTube. You should talk to your doctor, you should talk to, even if you're listening somebody, at least try to find somebody who kind of like credible enough to listen to. Yeah, some of the ideas that I'm sharing on this channel might be useful for you, same like some of these tools are useful for me. But this is not an easy task to deal with. And please, before thinking about anything, ask yourself, is it really gonna work for you, or is it gonna be a good tool for you? And do your independent research. That's what I'm saying. That's truly important. And what I've noticed when we're talking about binge eating, at one hand, over control is actually the reason why we have these food related issues, because this over control creates this idea that somehow we have limited resources and we need to eat as fast as we can because tomorrow there might not be one. On the other hand, without any restrictions, without some certain rules, without some certain limitations, it's also quite hard to deal with your issues, because if you keep living the life you have always, if you're following the old habits, probably nothing is gonna change and you're still gonna stay in the same state, and we are actually trying to work our way out of it. So probably the answer is somewhere in the middle, and we are all different. We should test it on ourselves. But at least a couple of rules that now I'm going to mention here that help me, a person with binge eating episodes, kind of to find this balance between controlling the food that I'm eating, but at the same time still applying some kind of rules and strategies to the way I eating my food and to my food related experience in general. So the first rule that probably you can figure out easily, it's this idea of eating slowly. Instead of like stuffing myself, I'm really trying now as hard as I can to be really present, to pay attention to the smell, to the color, to the texture of the food. I'm trying to put it nicely on a plate. I started having a food journal and I have a separate video about that. So I'm trying to be as present as possible, and I'm trying to eat slowly. First of all, it's giving me time to understand what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, and it helps me to not only have this physical satisfaction from hunger, from food, and I'm not getting hunger and my stomach is getting fuller, but also I want to have this psychological satisfaction. And because most of us binge eaters are eating definitely not because we are hungry, but because of some our emotional issues, I'm trying to satisfy my emotions with food as much as I can when I'm eating, so there will be less space for overeating, because I'm gonna try to cover that emotional aspect with food. Next thing, which I practice also regularly now for different aspects of my life, it's this idea of mindful questioning. So I'm trying to ask myself question: do I like this food, for example? Do I like the taste? Do I like the texture? How this food make me feel? Do I feel energetic or sleepy? Do I feel bloated? Do I like this taste? Would I like to do something differently? Maybe add something else to this food so the taste is gonna be better. And this is a part of this journey, this idea of building a healthy dialogue with myself, but it also incredibly helpful for food, because I start trusting myself, I start actually listening to myself, I start listening to my body, and I think those are very good strategy for those of us who are dealing with binge eating episodes. Next point, again, something that you probably heard about, it's this idea of avoiding any kind of distractions, like no screens, no TV, probably even no music. There should be only you and food. Yeah, definitely, in case you're in some social environment with friends, with your family members, eating your proper meal, okay. Still, probably try to pay attention to what you are eating, actually, how you're eating, how much, but at the same time, yeah, we should be present also socially. But in case you have time, especially if you the one who wants to fix your relationship with food, it's also a good idea sometimes to have this one-to-one moment with your food. It's only you and food. No phone, no TV, no computer, no other people around, not even music. You're just trying to eat and listen to yourself. How does it make you feel? How do you feel before you start eating? How do you feel after you stopped eating? What is the level of your hunger? What actually was the trigger that pushed you eating for the first time? Was it a physical hunger? Was it emotional hunger? Was it some kind of emotional hunger? Maybe you were unhappy, unsatisfied, irritated, bored. And asking yourself those questions and being able honestly answering those questions, I think is a real game changer on this journey of building better relationship with food. In total, I think this idea of stopping when you're 80% full is actually a good idea. Yet for those of us who are suffering from food related issues, we do need to adjust it a little bit. We do need first start building this self-trust, self-dialogue, and based on how we feel about it, already start working with these 80-20 rules. Ask ourselves questions, test different things, try to be present, try to be mindful. And this 80-20 rule, it's actually a very great idea. It's something that can help people who suffer from binge eating and who do not suffer from binge eating. Again, it's only my personal opinion. But at the same time, because we are also different, we have different experiences with food, we have different history, we have different environment. We do need to test everything, because no one, even the greatest specialist in the world, can give you the exact answer. You should test it for yourself, because you are the only one person who knows your experience. You are the only one person with whom you are 100% honest. At least you should be. And that's gonna influence your journey and your result and your outcomes with this technique. So I hope you find this video useful. If you have already tried implementing these 80-20 rules, please share your experience, maybe some additional tools that help you. Again, the more tools we have, the better it is for us, the richer we are getting, and the easier it is for us to reach our big and ambitious goals. So thank you for staying here with me. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon.